Hello and welcome back to the Catapult Digital Health semi-finals. We hope you had a great lunch and good connections during the last hour. Now we have 5 more top digital startups to listen to this afternoon. They will have exactly the same format as this morning. Let's remember, it is a 5-minute pitch, 5 minutes Q&A with our international jury, and then the notes and marks will be made by the jury. So then we will switch to the next pitcher. We will be running through until 2:30, where we will be then going into a networking session, which will run into our final break before our 2 final expert speakers, our insights, and of course, the big moment, the ceremony for the awards. So now let's go to Italy. In Italy, we are going to meet Maria Teresa Francomano, who is the co-founder and president of Hiexel. Is that correct?
Hexel, yes,
Teresa,
correct.
lovely to
Thanks.
meet you this afternoon. You now
Thanks.
have 5 minutes to pitch. Enjoy your time and the floor is yours.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Maria Teresa, and I co-founded Hexel for making the best neurorehabilitation solutions accessible to as many patients as possible. Stroke is the leading cause of disability in the world. Every 2 seconds, a person suffers a stroke. Since I started talking, about 8 new stroke cases occurred. 80% of stroke patients survive, albeit with some form of permanent disability, and 80% of those are left with arm impairment. There are 50 million survivors globally, and the World Health Organization urges countries to adopt proper rehabilitation strategies. This because current offer, especially for chronic patients, is not adequate. Now, a stroke event is followed immediately by life-saving treatments in hospital. Once the immediate danger is addressed, some rehabilitation sessions start at the hospital, but patients undergo rehabilitation only for a few weeks before being discharged. Then, some of them access outpatient facilities for a few weeks more, but receiving less effective therapies. Robotic technologies, which are proven to be the most effective for intensive and long term rehabilitation, are available only in a few hospitals and almost nowhere outside hospitals. This is mainly due to high cost, product clearance needed to operate outside hospitals, and because they usually require specialized professionals. So, what happens now is that disabled patients that could recover motor functionalities even long after the stroke event are not treated as they could and are left with a permanent disability. Our goal is to solve this issue with ICON. ICON is the first cost-effective plug-and-play robotic platform for upper limb neurorehabilitation, which has been cleared also for out-of-hospital use. ICON is the first medical robotic system also available to chronic patients, allowing intensive and engaging therapeutic sessions via Excel games. Thanks to the proprietary cloud platform, medical doctors and therapists can set up the therapy, monitor patients' activities, and assess the therapy progress via a user friendly interface, all remotely. ICON enables the continuum of care paradigm in a cost and a resource effective way, bringing intensive neurorehabilitation not only to hospitals but also to small rehabilitation centers, gyms, community centers, and even at home. This is very convenient for patients, but also enlarges the size of our market. Our product stands apart from current available solutions in terms of portability, standards clearance, and costs, as well as being easier to be used. So far, we deployed 27 Icon globally, and we keep expanding our commercial network. Icon is more than a robot. Icon is a platform that can be enhanced by adding both hardware and software modules to increase functionality to serve a larger variety of patients. For example, we are now developing modules for hand and wrist, as well as a pediatric and orthopedic version. Our business model comprises both sales and software and hardware provided as a service through a pay-per-use model, which favors small centers by reducing their capital investments. We expect to reach 16 million euros in 2026, deploying 1,500 units with a break-even point in 2025. To achieve its ambitious goal, Hexel counts now on a team of 25 people with complementary skills and expertise. We are now looking for new partners to turn our vision into an impactful reality. So thanks for your kind attention.
Thank you, Maria Teresa, for this excellent pitch. Well done. Let's now bring in our jury to listen to their questions. Over to the jury. Who would like to start off? Yes, Sonia, go ahead.
Thank you. I would like to know the capital you are searching for, or the investment. So what are you putting the money in for, in what steps, and what are the next steps?
Okay, thanks. We are looking now for a round of 5 million euros. Actually, our business plan foresees investments both on R&D activities, because we are developing more modules, both hardware and software, to expand the functionality of the robot. And we are also pushing to be present globally in the market. So the investments are also focused on marketing activities and pre-commercial and commercial activities. So this is the idea of how to share the investments.
Thank you. Yes, Diane, ask your question, please.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot for the pitch today. So I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about results that you have already achieved. Do you have data that prove indeed that this works and that the patients are doing better? And then also, could you comment on the price of having such a machine? How does it work for which type of customers then?
Okay. Yes, our product is clinically validated. So we design a robot which, in similarity with another one which has been developed 20 years ago, and it's the one which has been mostly widely validated. So we inherited all the study done on clinical protocols on this robot. We also conducted our own validation, both from a usability aspect and also on a clinical side. And we obtained preliminary results, so they are going to be published soon. So I can anticipate that all data we recorded confirm the recovery of the patient even years after the stroke event itself, and being able to train every day and not just few times a week has a good impact on the recovery of patients. We tried also the feasibility of this kind of solution bringing it at home. So we worked with some prospect hospitals implementing the continuum of care. So, for example, assessing first of all the patient in the hospital and then bringing the robot at home with a therapist that connected remotely during the telerehabilitation. So we also have some data on this kind of solution, and we are now evaluating also the economic impact together with the hospitals. For what about this second question that was about our customers, we are targeting
price
both
as well.
and the price. Okay, we are targeting both hospitals because it's the first contact point between the patient and the robot. In this case, we propose a sales, a direct sale, and the price is for distributor 20,000 euros. And for the final customer, we suggest a price of 35,000 euros. Following the patient outside the hospital, we are targeting also small rehab centers and therapies going at home. And in this case, we propose a pay-per-use model. So the fee depending on the hour that the robot is working. The fee is based on a hourly base use, and it's about 50 euro per hour. So it's a standard fee, like a normal therapy with a physiotherapist. So we are trying to maintain the cost really affordable because this kind of therapy should be performed for a larger number of patients and for a long period.
Thank you.
I hope. Okay.
We'll do. We're getting close to. Yes, very quickly. Please go ahead. Very quickly.
Okay, just for us to know, do you think that your solution will be
in fact,
one
I'm sorry, we're going to have.
reimbursed?
I'm sorry, we're going to have to stop. In fact, I'm sorry, we're running out of time and we have to respect the rules. Okay, thank you very much, jury. And thank you, Maria. Teresa, let's now return to Spain. We are going to meet Nuria Pastor. Now, Nuria is the CEO and co-founder of Human IT Care. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Nuria, you now have 5 minutes to pitch Human IT Care. Have a great time.
Thank you so much. So at Human IT Care, we are on a mission, which is to radically improve the healthcare system with data, because we want to improve the quality of life of patients. 4 years ago, when I was working in the hospital with chronic patients, we detected there was a big need there. In traditional care, when patients are discharged, they go home with a prescribed treatment and plan. During this treatment, patients need to constantly monitor their health, constantly monitor their progress during visits, and constantly monitor the potential complications. If they don't, there is a real chance they will end up back to the hospital. However, this process is highly inefficient. It takes 10 hours per patient for every single patient at week, and it is costly. The costs of the European Union are more than 700 billion of expenses in the chronic care. And this process is critical on heart failure. It is one of the most chronic diseases affecting 15 million of people in Europe, and the cost of heart failures accumulates 29 billion per year in the European Union. Moreover, COVID-19 has accelerated its demand, making a crowded healthcare system. So now is the time to change this paradigm. At Human IT Care, we are solving this by bringing hospital at home. We collect data for multiple existing medical devices as Omron, Veorer, and other well-known CMR brands, but the most important, we are unique because we bring intelligence into the data. Our AI proprietary algorithm that has been validated by more than 10 hospitals in Spain, especially in heart failure, have demonstrated that we can reduce the 40% of the cost into the hospital. The platform is highly interoperable, and that means that we can collect easily into the electronic health records. Where other systems need 6 months, we can do it in 10 days. And how it works? It is simple. Most solutions try to implement all the solution in the electronic health records. We don't. We do an easy connection through our platform and through the doctor's platform with our API. We do an easy connection with the patients and doctors. So patients receive an SMS, they automatically log in the follow-up care plan, and then the doctors will be triggered through our AI algorithms if something is going to happen to these patients. Humanity Care has been listed in the Forbes and Business Insider this year as a promising startup in Europe, and also we have received 2.5 million from the European Commission for a very important grant, which is the EIT Accelerator. And how we are bringing value to healthcare. Let me show you an example. In one of the private and largest groups of Spain, Rivera Salud, we demonstrate that in heart failure patients, we were able to reduce the 33% of the visits to emergency and the 20% of the time in the readmissions. And the most important, patients and doctors are happy and safe with our solution. Humanity Care has a B2B model. We are working mainly with hospitals, private and clinics, and also with healthcare insurance. And as you have seen, we have started having our first revenues. We hope to keep growing for a value of revenues in the following years. And the most important, we have been working on validation and science, and we have demonstrated that there is a big willingness to pay of our solution. So what makes Humanity Care unique? What makes Humanity Care unique are mainly two things. Our AI analytics, we have a team of data science that are experts on machine learning and deep learning, and we have developed together with doctors these models. And the second thing is that we are an API-first company. That means that we can easily connect our platform to our other existing platforms. So we broke the silos of information that are happening in our space. And just to finish, Humanity Care has also a very good team that really always listen to the patient's needs and improve their product. And just to finish, we have a team with a board expertise. We have the CFO of Sanofi in our board, Anna Kos. She has been working for more than 10 years in this area, and also Wayente. And we're a team of more than 20 people passionate about helping and changing the life of millions of patients with heart failure in the world. So if you want to join the next giant on connected health, please help us to make true that dream. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nuria. Thank you for your great pitch. That's great. Let's now move over to our jury. And I would also like to mention that one member of the jury will refrain from scoring Human IT Care due to a conflict of interest. However, we are looking forward to hearing the questions from the other jurors. So please go ahead with the first question. Who would like to ask the first question? Yes, Susie. Susie, please go ahead.
Thank you for your presentation. I would like to go back to the fact that you mentioned that you go from 6 months down to 10 days with your solution. Could you elaborate on that? I mean, from what it is today, then what you can offer with your solution.
Okay, thank you, Susie, for your question. So I will put you an example to explain that question. So with one hospital, Can Rutis, one public hospital from Spain, what we have done is that we have an API. So they can request which kind of data they want from us. So instead of connecting all our system into the electronic health records as other companies do, what we do is we give permission with a key so they can connect easily to our system. So our API is bidirectional, and that means that the data flow of information, it can happen like more easy and also like more faster than it's done now.
Okay, so it's about the data flow and API that would actually make that possible.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Natalie, please ask your question.
Yes, thank you. How do you handle data privacy in your system, and also have you shown economic impact? I mean, reduction of economic burden.
Okay, thank you, Natalie, for your question. So first of all, for working with like all the hospitals that we are working, we have like passed like all the issues of quality. And related to that, what we do is that when we gather the data from the patients, we encrypt it in our cloud. And we don't have like a way to identify the ID from these patients because it's encrypted directly into our server. And related to the second question, what we have done is we have measured like a lot of things in terms of the impact of the cost of the reduction cost that we can deliver. The first are like the visits in different parts of the hospitals, the emergency visits, and the visits that these kind of patients are generated due to this compensation. So this is the first one. But also we measure the impact of having like a better management of the medication. And these kind of patients, they used to have like a lot of decompensations with the first medications that they receive. So we also measure in a control group related to an experimental group what happens in both. And we were able to demonstrate that. In fact, this hospital has published like all the results in the website. So they are like better explained there, just if you want to check there.
Yes, Diane, I think you have a question. Please go ahead.
Yes, I have a multi-part question, if I may. So first, you have probably noticed you're not the first remote monitoring company that we have heard about it today. So tell me more about competition and also differentiator for you. And then would you tell us a bit about your revenue model in terms of indeed pricing, but also then you are talking about devices. Are these devices that you provide? Are these things that the patients or hospitals will already have? So how does it work?
Okay, thank you so much for your question. So related to the competition, we know that this is a market that is growing, and that's good that the market is growing. But we differentiate. The first thing is that we are an API first solution, and that means that we are not like software. We are not just software. We are like, as for example, Amazon. It's also like a API first solution. So we have like a very modulable ways of connecting, and we have seen that most of these solutions, when we ask to the doctors, they are not like inside of the homework or electronic health records. So I think that our capability to connect easily to the electronic health records that is demonstrated in public hospitals as Canruti and others, it's one of the things that make that human IT care can be implemented easily in the hospitals. And related to the second questions about the revenue model, we have a subscription per user. So our API have like a lot of calls when these patients are using the system, and then we have like a subscription for these calls. And of course, with for example, Omron and other companies like Fitbit, we have partners. And when a hospital needs like device, we offer together with this partner like a special price. But also it's good for us because these partners are bringing clients. So we are like a good relationship and a very interesting model with suppliers that bring clients, and we bring to these suppliers like also new ways to have like revenues.
Nuria, that is great. We have run out of time. Thank you, jury, and thank you, Nuria. We now have time to go to Finland. We're going to meet Petri Tre, who is the partner and commercial lead at Camu Health. Good afternoon, Petri.
Good afternoon. Hello, everyone.
It's great to have you with us at Catapult. It's now your turn to pitch. So you have 5 minutes and the floor is yours. Have a great time.
Thank you. I want to start by asking you to close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs. Now open your eyes. How did that feel? Pretty good, I guess, right? We tend to take it for granted that we actually can take a deep breath. But what if you couldn't? In fact, 1 in 10 people cannot. The reason? They suffer from chronic respiratory asthma. Living with asthma is a struggle. It's difficult to quantify our own health condition. Long-term tracking is tedious. Am I doing better than yesterday? The week before? How well is my medication working? How am I doing compared to others? Am I normal? How can an asthma patient predict an upcoming attack? They can't. Not until the symptoms have actually occurred. But then it's already too late. Workdays are missed, and in the worst case, patients need hospitalization. This is frustrating. Luckily, we here at Camu Health know how to help asthma patients. We give them control, we give them clear feedback, and we give them the motivation to stick to their prescribed self-care routine. The Finnish asthma program ran for 10 years, and it had incredible results. Although the number of asthma patients diagnosed with asthma doubled during that time, the cost associated to asthma was halved. Now, the same people, key people behind the asthma program, are also part of creating Catapult. They've joined with experts in developing and selling innovative software that people love to use. Together, we've built a company with a clear mission to provide the best preventive care solution for people with chronic respiratory conditions. Catapult is evidence-based, predictive, and a joy to use. It includes a smartphone application where the user manages her entire self-care routine. It comes with a personal spirometer, a reliable quantified view of the lung condition, and it has a backend for doctors and care personnel to use. At a glance, they can monitor the condition of every patient. But there is more. Each person generates data. That data is then enriched with external data, such as air quality information, weather forecasts, and other device data, in order to create personalized real-time alerts and daily forecasts, and to predict changes in the patient's condition. This keeps the patient coming back to the solution, which is key for helping them with their self-care routine. And our users love it. Our early results indicate that 70% of our users log in at least once per week and 50% twice or more. So who cares about this? The payers. In Germany, the cost of uncontrolled asthma is 2,700 euros per year. The cost for controlled asthma is 250. This makes asthma a big problem. The total cost of asthma for the European society is 72 billion euros every single year. The good thing is that much of that cost is avoidable if we do one thing: improve the control of asthma. And we can, through better self-care with Catapult. We're looking for 3 million euros to take the next step in our journey. In 2022, we will take Catapult to selected European markets to validate our business model. We will start with the Dutch and the German markets, offering a software as a service that's prescribed by the doctors, used by the patients, and paid by the insurers. Once validated, we will scale to more users and markets in 2023. Are we just about asthma? No, that's just the beginning. We've built a solution that can be equally well applied to COPD and other respiratory conditions. Now, we cannot cure these chronic diseases, but we can help to keep them under control. Thank you.
Thank you, Petri. Thank you so much for this excellent pitch. Let's turn to our jury to take their questions, please. Who would like to begin? We have 5 minutes. Diane, please ask your question.
Thanks a lot for this speech on this indeed very important disease. A question for you, can you clarify a bit more what it actually includes, your solution? So you indeed talked about the app and the spirometer, but then what does it do for the patients and the doctors? So how do you get to a reduction then of costs?
Yeah, that's a great question. So from our side, we supply an application that the person uses, and it obviously has that personal spirometer. So all of our solution, it's a medical grade device so that a doctor can make clinical decisions based on what they see. But what we utilize is that quantified measurement data that we get through the spirometer, but we combine that with other types of external data, which could be the weather forecasts and other information, or there could be devices that's larger or even startup companies offer today to monitor nighttime coughing and similar aspects that then provide information to the system. And our system then uses that data from various sources to analyze and predict, how is that patient doing long term, so that the proper care instructions can be given by the doctor.
Thank you. Let's go for a new question. Yes, please, Catherine.
Yeah, just perhaps I missed it, but could you remind us what kind of amount are you searching for the next round?
We're looking for 3 million euros to take the next steps.
Yes, Susie, please ask your question.
Thank you. I would like to know a little more about the competition, the landscape of competition. And this is an app, so who else is providing something like this?
So there are some providers out there that have similar solutions in terms that there might be a spirometer, for example, and some of our competitors are maybe more focused on the hardware that they're providing, an application and hardware to basically take measurements, which we see as only part of the solution that we want to do. So for us, such companies are partners, really. We can use their hardware and solutions to really get data into our solution. Our purpose is to utilize as much data as possible to help making the right care decisions for the patient.
Thank you.
I believe, Miguel, you have a question. Yeah. Miguel, you are on mute. Unmute, please.
Am I?
Go ahead now.
We can hear
you. Please ask your question. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can you hear me? Great. Yeah, could you develop a little bit more the data use of agreement that the potential users would try to sign, and whether there is any business model also around the data you are storing from the patients? Thank you.
That's an excellent question, and two sides to that. So the data usage, if you're referring to that, so the patients on our side control the data that they want to share with doctors, for example. So they are in control of their own data. We use anonymized data from the whole patient population to draw conclusions, if you will. But definitely the last aspect you mentioned, the data itself, that's part of our business model long term, that we generate a lot of value based on data for various different actors, not just necessarily for the doctor, but could be for pharmaceutical companies and other actors that would be keen on understanding, for example, how their medication is working in real life conditions.
Yes, Natalie, ask your question, please.
Yes. What is your immediate next step right now in your...
Yeah, we're starting piloting the business model and to basically generate medical evidence of the efficacy of the solution in Germany and in the Netherlands, so that we can get the doctors on our side.
Thank you very much indeed. That wraps up our Q&A with the jury and Camus Health. It's now time to go to Germany again and to meet Jürgen Stein. Jürgen is the managing director at Mentalis. Good afternoon, Jürgen.
Good afternoon.
It's lovely to have you with us at Catapult. So you know the rules. You've got 5 minutes to pitch Mentalis, and we wish you a great pitch. The floor is yours.
The time right after my hospital stay was the worst time of my life. Claire, 42, mental health patient. In hospital she was treated, she was stabilized, and she got better. But patients like Claire need seamless aftercare. most times, they don't get it. The consequence? Rehospitalization. 20%, 1 in 5 returns to hospital within 3 months. Within a year, it's 1 in 3. It's the same for Claire. Claire left hospital and she found it difficult to know where to go for help, especially as she was still feeling pretty fragile. And in her town, there isn't much help anyway. So Claire is a loser here, but not the only one. We have a lose-lose-lose. Second losers are clinics. You might think clinics like rehospitalizations because of higher intake. Wrong. Intake is not the problem. The problem is discharge. Third losers are health insurers, whose costs are huge. For example, in Germany, the average stay in hospital for someone like Claire costs 10,000 euros. The total cost? 10 billion euros every single year. It costs insurers, it costs society, it costs the patient. So is there a better solution? There is. Mentalis Digital Aftercare, a blended care offering. But what makes it so special? Well, it combines an app that's low threshold for the patient, that really works, that's scientifically proven, that offers medium to large effect sizes, with psychological telesupport that helps patients to stay motivated, that gives them feedback, and that supports them to get into further care. Clinics and health insurers tell us the key benefit is our process innovation. We integrate clinics technically and procedurally. But what does that mean? Well, we change Claire's experience. Before Claire even leaves the hospital, she can download the app. Within a week, she can get a first appointment with her telecoach, and she can start using the app right away with micro-interventions to build on her success. So she receives seamless aftercare. We even support Claire to get into further care after Mentalis. We offer products for depression, for borderline personality disorder, for eating disorders, for affect regulation, and for alcohol addiction. With more in development. Right now, our products can cover up to 80% of the patients. But this is not just about Claire. In Germany, we're talking about over 1 million patients a year. In Europe, more than 5 million. Our estimated market potential is more than 1 billion euro. Where are we now? We've conducted 11 RCTs. We've seen over 1,000 patients. We are contracting with clinics and health insurers. And how did we get here? It is with the trust of our over 40 partners. As university spin-off, research is in our DNA. We've received research grants of over 1 million euros and started our 11th clinical trial in September, with more on the way. We are a medical device manufacturer. We won Digital Health Award. We won Healthy Hub. We won Health Eye Award. We completed a successful seed round. We entered the market. We are contracting with hospitals and health insurers who pay for our solution. We are rolling out in Germany now. Europe will follow region by region. By doing what we do, we turn lose-lose-lose into win-win-win. First win, patients get into safe hands. Second win, health insurers save billions. Third win, patients like Claire get the aftercare they need and that they deserve. This is a true story. I personally know Claire. You probably know someone like Claire yourself. We want to help all patients like Claire all over Europe. We are Mentalis. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jürgen, for your excellent pitch. Let's turn to the jury to hear their questions, please. Who would like to begin? Natalie, Catherine.
Yes,
yes, Natalie
thank you
first.
for your presentation. Yes, thank you for your presentation. You say here, I wasn't sure exactly about your product because you mentioned an app, then you mentioned some psychological support, but you say you're a medical device manufacturer, and then I said, what do you manufacture? And I mean, if it's just an app, I don't know what are you manufacturing, and also do you provide the specialist doing the psychological support, or this is done by the hospital? So where, you know, kind of who does what?
No, we do both. Actually, our app itself is CE marked, so it is a medical device. Therefore, we are a medical device manufacturer. But we accompany the app by psychological telesupport, because for our patients that are severely impacted by their illness, they usually need telesupport. They usually need personal touch, personal support, and as in addition to an app.
So you hire these people, you hire doctors.
We have some people, some of our psychologists are hired on board to have a nucleus to secure the quality. We also work with freelance psychologists that work for us. So we are the one that brings the solution to the patient.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine, please ask your question, then Susie.
Yeah, my question is more about your customers. So is it hospitals? You also mentioned insurers or patients. So who do you need to convince first?
Well, at Mentalis, we have a B2B approach. So we have cooperation agreements with hospitals. They will refer patients to our product, and we have reimbursement contracts with health insurers. At the end, they will pay. So for us, it's important for the patient to get a low threshold with trust into the app. So therefore, they are collected from the hospital already, put into the app, and are accompanied by our psychologists.
Yes, Susie, your turn for your question, please.
Thank you for a good presentation on a very interesting topic. I would like to hear a little bit more about the team, because since you are both providing an app as a medical device, and on the other hand, you also have to work on recruiting doctors in the mental health field for doing the, I would call it, after sales service for the patients. How does your organization look? Because it seems like it must be quite a big organization in order to do all these different things that you have to make sure you can provide.
Yes. So at the moment, we are 22 people here at Mentalis working here. And we have in the management board, we have all skills that we need for our business. I myself, I'm the business guy. We have Alex Plona, who is the IT guy. And right next to me here is sitting my colleague, Dr. Lucas, who is a psychologist, Dr. Lucas, who also worked in hospital and knows the discharge problem from his own practice.
Okay.
Natalie, would you like to come back with a question?
I just had another question.
Also
so
to Sonia.
How do you scale this up? And what about language? What about the different languages? I mean, how are you going to scale this? And, you know, in different, I mean, I don't know what language you started. I guess English or German. I don't know where you are from, but yeah, how do you do this?
So we are surely scaling up. Actually, at the moment, we are entering the market, and we have closed several contracts. So scaling is in the near future, not in the mid or far future. We're scaling it up. Probably the question is about the recruitment of psychologists. We have partners here in the university in Bavaria, in Germany, all over Germany. One of our board members is also a professor at the university. So we have access to freshly finished students from university who typically also go into education to a psychotherapist. So these are the people that are highly educated, that we at Mentalis ourselves also certify ourselves as medical, as telecoach as well. So we can do this by accessing,
Sonia, very quickly, can you jump in with your question?
Just very quickly, yeah. There are some of, or the most of the DIGAs in Germany are in this field, I think. They're more about in front care. So just shortly, what is the difference?
We are not a DIGA because DIGAs cannot give the personal telecoaches to the people. So we do single contracts with health insurers.
we will have to end it there. Thank you very much indeed to the jury and Jürgen for a very rich exchange around this interesting subject. So we are now going to France, and we're going to meet Julien Vidal. Good afternoon, Julien. Julien is the co-founder and CEO at ASMED. He will tell us which way to say it. Good afternoon, Julien. I think you need to unmute, Julien. So we cannot hear you for the moment. If you can, all right. It would be lovely to hear you. This, of course, will be our this will be, of course, our final pitch, meaning that we have listened to 12 pitches from the top digital health startups currently in Europe. We are trying to connect now with Julien to be sure that we can hear him perfectly. Let's have another try. Good afternoon, Julien. Good to have you with us. This is our last time for listening to the startup pitch. So, as you know, 5 minutes to pitch. And if you are ready, the floor is yours.
La inteligencia artificial es el futuro de la salud. What if AI could revolutionize the healthcare industry? We all heard about all the problems AI could solve, and especially in radiology. The amount of medical images has surged by 100% during the last decade, while the number of radiologists has stagnated. And firstly, it seems complicated to limit the number of images produced as the world population gets older and bigger. And secondly, it takes 15 years to train a radiologist, and there's no sign we'll do more. So how can we close this gap? Well, usually a radiologist sees something like this to diagnose a patient. At AZMed, we make sure he sees something like this, so we can go faster and be more accurate thanks to Revolve. Revolve is detecting any fracture in lung or cardiac abnormalities, which means 80% of the X-rays produced. And it has concrete ROIs. Clinical studies show that radiologists gain 36% of time and 20% of sensitivity. Many companies try to tackle this issue. The problem is big players are not AI specialists, so they partner with companies like us, as we already did with most of them. And startups deeply struggle to penetrate this market and find the right entry point. At AZMed, we couldn't take this market faster, and I will show you how. In 1 year and a half, we've put AI into the hands of thousands of radiologists all around the world. We are used by 250 hospitals, radiology centers, and clinics in 12 countries. And with our subscription model, we've managed to generate an 80% quarterly growth since our launch. We did all of that with a very limited sales force, so I'll spend the last minutes to show you how we took this market. So let's take an example. To provide an AI solution to 3 different hospitals, a normal AI company would use a dataset to train a single algorithm and would put it in production. Problem is, the performances of this algorithm could be tremendously different from one client to another, depending on the machines they use, the patients they treat, or the habits they have. At AZMed, we do it a bit differently. We gathered 7 million X-rays not to build one single algorithm, but hundreds of them. Then our job is to match the best algorithms for the environment of each hospital. And the best part is that we automated most of this process. So a fast go-to-market and this automatic customization allow us to have a conversion rate above 90% and to have raised so far $4 million. All of that gives us the ambition to increase even more our resources and triple our yearly revenues in the years to come. We take the market also thanks to the legal barriers we passed. Revolve has been the very first solution to be CE marked in its category, and we don't have the FDA yet, but we are 80% there to become the very first company to commercialize such a product overseas. Most of all, we take the market because we know how to do it. Eli, our doctor, has spent more than 9 years in hospitals facing all the issues we're solving. Alex, our mathematician, already applied AI to breast cancer detection and cardiac MRI. Now it's 25 deep learning researchers, software engineers, and healthcare professionals from the very best schools that have joined us. So now, I want you to remember 3 takeaways today. We've built the very first solution CE mark in its category. We found the right strategy to be used at scale. And we now have the vision to become the trusted tech partner for any doctor analyzing any medical image anywhere in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian, for your first-class pitch. We have now our 5-minute Q&A with our international jury. Let's go and meet them. Jury, hello. Who would like to begin? I think Miguel has a question to start off. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Congrats on the project.
I think we have some sound issues. Can you hear Julian? Can you hear him?
I cannot hear the question, sorry.
No. Could we have the question again, please, Miguel?
Okay, sorry. Sure. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, cool. Yeah, I was wondering how the matching between the patient and the algorithm is actually performed in order to find the most suitable one.
Yes, thank you for the question. We have, as I said, a 7 million data set, and this data set comes from all around the world, so from Africa, Europe, South America, and North America mainly. And we train first the algorithm on very subtle fractures thanks to the 60 radiologists that are being part of the annotation process. So we trained it on some very subtle pediatric fractures and also bone tearings that are very hard to find. And for each image, we have 3 radiologists from this pool that annotates every image. And we take the ground truth from those 3 radiologists every time so that we are the closer possible to the ground truth and then train our algorithm on solid basis.
Okay. Thanks.
Diane, and then Sonia. Diane, please ask your question.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for this speech, Julien. A question, well, a double question from my side. Can you tell us more about your business model? And also, I find it indeed very interesting that you got so quickly in the market. You have already quite nice revenues and news, of course. But is that good, or is it does it mean that you're easily replaced then by the next upcoming company that would be just in development now?
Thank you very much for the question. So the business model is an annual subscription, and the pricing is depending on the range of X-rays that is produced by the client. And yes, we had quite a large use for 18 months of commercialization. We just, the chance that we had is that we think we found the right entry point, meaning that the fracture detection on the X-rays first is made by 90% of the medical images structure. And no one likes to do that, and no radiologist has the time to do that. So we really found a good entry point now. To replace us, you have to build 3 years of R&D for such an algorithm to obtain the certification. and then to also be able to be competitive and replace us in every center that we signed already. So yes, it would be doable, but from what we achieved so far, we now want to achieve more and develop more products and enlarge even more our customer bases.
Susie, would you like to ask your question?
Yes, thank you so much for a very nice presentation. You mentioned that you are in 250 hospitals in 12 countries. That sounds really impressive. So what is the next step of your go-to-market strategy? And what are you focusing on some specific areas globally, or are you just going to go for the global thing?
Yeah, this is one of the top questions we ask ourselves now. The go-to-market strategy for us is first a direct strategy, so we sell directly the product to key opinion leaders, and then we benefit from this network effects to reach each geography that we prioritize. So for now, it's Europe and the US. So it's very large, basically, but we really want to tackle first every KOLs from every country or regions on those areas, and then sign indirect deals with big players. So we did that 2 months ago with General Electric all around the world, so that they can distribute us for all their clients. Goal is to do the same to speed even more the process.
Quickly, a final question, please. Very quickly. Yeah, Sonia?
I mean, I can ask, you provocatively mentioned that you are doing better than Philips because they don't have AI stuff. I think that will change. So how are you seeing your long-term future? Because I think they will catch up at some point and they have more money than you do.
I thank you very much. I don't get if there was a question, sorry.
No, I said, yeah, sorry, it's okay. I mean, we're running out of time. I'm sorry. It's fine.
Sorry.
All right. Well,
no.
Okay, Julian. So thank you very much, jury. Thank you for the quality of your questions all day. And we have now listened to 12 amazing startups in digital health who have given some, well, super pitches from the morning when we started until now at the end of our startup pitch sessions. We are at 2:30 going to move into the networking session. You know where to contact on the networking platform, matchmaking platform, hashtag EITH Catapult. This is a fabulous opportunity in order to meet, make contacts and start some fantastic conversations. There will then be, after that, a break, which will take us through until 16:45. And at 16:45, we will be meeting for the final 2 expert insights, going into the German DIGA model and disruptive technologies on the oncology landscape. Stay with us for that. We then, of course, have, after that, coming up at 5 o'clock, the awards ceremony. So we wish you a really good afternoon. Don't forget a cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever you like. And we'll see you later on at 16:45.